Dividers, calipers, and compasses are very handy tools for measuring in the blacksmith shop. Welcome back to Black Bear Forge and the tool of the day. Frequently in the shop you will see me just using a hook rule to measure things. It's fairly quick and easy, but you do have to read the numbers and you do have to make sure you read them correctly. Sometimes if your eyes are blurry with sweat or the material's hot and you can't quite get in there where you want to, it might be difficult. And oftentimes the number really doesn't matter. What matters is that whatever you did over here fits over here, and you don't need a ruler, you don't need a measurement, you just need to make them fit. And with that in mind, all of these tools will help you accomplish that goal. It is very easy to set a caliper to a specific size and measure that size in one place and then compare that size to the part in another place. Doesn't matter how many things you're making, as long as you don't change this adjustment, it's always going to be correct. Of course, the classic in the blacksmith shop are these neat double calipers that are made in the shop. You make them yourself, or in this case I found a neat antique pair. But these are wonderful tools. One of them is generally for width, one of them is generally for thickness, and they work very well that way. And it's something that you probably should have in the shop, and we will make a pair as a video coming up fairly soon. This is a set that I made probably 30 years ago. They're still a functional tool. Has a short arm for the thickness and a wider arm for the width. Either way works just fine. But if you can't get those, or you haven't made a set, sometimes these antique ones that are in kind of rough shape, they're kind of rusty, they're a little bit misshapen, but they still work. That will still set a measurement. This one needs a thumb screw made for it, but other than that, this is still a functional tool, and they're pretty cheap on the used tool market that way. And these pressed sheet metal ones that you buy new now, they work, but they're kind of short and they're going to heat up easily if you're using them around hot material. So I almost never use this style, but they would work. Little calipers like this are quite precise and quite accurate. I don't know that I would use these on hot material, but they are an antique pair. I think they were probably made by the same person. Everything is almost identical, except for those wonderful thumb screws that somebody made for these. They're just nearly perfect. Clearly a machinist did this. They're a little above my skill, but shows you what you can do with a thumb screw. These are real handy for checking things like rivets. You can put that on the rivet, lock it, the rivet goes in there, and then compare drill bits. And then, well, you know you've got the right size drill bit for the rivet, even if you don't know exactly what size the rivet is, because sometimes old rivets come in weird sizes. But if you do need to know exactly what your measurement is, dial calipers and electronic calipers and micrometers, they all work. But for most blacksmithing, measurements down to a thousandth or even a hundredth of an inch just really doesn't matter. It's just almost never needs to be that accurate for forge work. If you're a machinist, you already know how to use these, and you probably already have several sets. And that brings us to what most of us refer to as dividers. Most of these are antiques. They're stuff I bought on eBay. This one's bent and twisted and kind of rough and rusted and ugly, but you know, it still works and it still holds its adjustment. Even though this one never had a thumb screw, it's a good friction fit, and you can tell by looking at it that this is a hand forged set. So these are available on the used tool market. These little commercial ones really, I don't know, they're too light and flimsy as far as I'm concerned. So I prefer the old ones when I can get them. And I obviously will probably never need another set. I've got way more than I need. Nice little pair of wing dividers. Now interestingly, Peter Ross frequently demonstrates how to make tools like this. And for that matter, this really nice set and this set are both tools that Peter Ross made that I was able to purchase from him. And both of these he refers to as compasses. Apparently the old name for this was a compass, even though they were used the same way we would use a pair of dividers today. That's just not the name that they used. So if you hear them called compasses, that's still a good name for them. But he does exquisite work on these. He is very good at it. And he has a video out through Popular Woodworking on how to make a set similar to this. They look more like this with what he refers to as a square head, although this is a set I made, and they aren't quite as pretty as Peter's, but they do work. This is forge welded on this side to create the two leaves there, and just forged on this side, and then they are fit hot so that they fit each other. So if you're interested in making these, even though I'll do something like this in a video at some point, I would strongly encourage you to look for Peter's video through Popular Woodworking on forging a compass. It's part of a series that goes by the name Forging for Woodworkers, I think, or Blacksmithing for Woodworkers. And all these are essentially the same type of thing. There's really not much difference in most of these. That's just a quick look at calipers, compasses, dividers, and tools you can use to see how you measure up, or more importantly, how your work measures up. I hope you enjoyed that video and give it a thumbs up. As always, I'd love it if you hit that subscribe button. Take some time, watch a few of the other videos, check out the playlist for the tool of the day to see what other tools we've discussed. But then make time in your day to get out to your shop, make something, do stay safe, and do wear your safety glasses, and we'll see you for the next one.